And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again here to La Tertulia Ecuestre. Well, this is our second show of 2021, and it's looking like a very promising year, because after having David Broom last week, we are very honored to have today's guest. He's from Switzerland, Mr. Philippe Guerdat, which will be introduced in just a second. But before we start, I would like to first thank La Tertulia Ecuestre, Ale Cancusi. You've done an amazing job. Thank you very much for all your support, and Mariela and Estefania for the translation. And so now we introduce our co-host, Leopoldo Palacios. How are you? Good to see you, Leopoldo. We have also Santiago Varela from Madrid, Spain, which, wow, but you look very dry today, because after all the snow that you had in Madrid in the last days, it's incredible, no? And we have also Carolo Lopez Quesada from Cavallarium.com. Carolo, thank you very much for all your support. We really are honored to have you here. Well, and today we have the masters of the masters, Mr. Philippe Guerdat. Not only as a rider, he competed in the Olympics in 1984 in LA. He competed in 1988 in Seoul. He's also been chef d'équipe. He won medals. I mean, Philippe, you're an amazing person, very famous, father of Steve. I mean, you're very successful in the sport, and most importantly, you have a 360-degree view of the sport. You've been very active, very vocal, and you have added a lot of benefits to our sport, so we want to thank you, and it's an honor to have you here. Today, as chef d'équipe of Brazil, in the view to go to the Tokyo Olympics, that we're going to talk, obviously, during this show. And Philippe, we really want to welcome you to La Tertulia Ecuestre. How are you?
I am well, fine. Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. I am pleased to be with you.
Well, thank you very much. Philippe, so how everything evolved, how you started in the equestrian sport. Can you take us briefly about your years in the sport and how you became so successful, and you still are very successful in all your duties in the sport?
Yeah, in reverse of many people, I start my life in a horse family, because my father was also competing. He had a business with horse dealing. He had another business beside, but in the end, we just make horse dealing. So I grew up always with horses, and I start very young to ride ponies, and after I went to competition when I was over 10 with my father, and my father was really the big start on my life. He was looking to me, and after he produced some horses for me, and so I grew up, and when I was 19, I went for 1 year in Ireland to work in a stable with racing horses and jumping horses, both together. And after I continued my life and a sport guy, I was doing business besides, so it was complicated because this time was different than today, and we have to drive ourselves a lorry, a truck everywhere in Europe, or going by train, or it was very complicated. It's different than it is today, but I enjoy this life. And after I had 2 sons and I started to ride, and they were going to the show with the mother because I was still competing. And one day I decided very abrupt to stop to ride because my wife said, yeah, you are not looking enough to your son because they are going in the show every week, and I cannot anymore help them. So I decided, because I had a good rider at home, a young one, so I thought he can ride my horses. I sold someone, and I was looking to my 2 sons to grow up with the junior and young riders. That is okay. It's the moment I stopped it, and once I get a little bit older, so I had opportunity to start to work as a chef d'équipe, and my first post was in Spain. So I started it in Spain. I make the junior and young rider in Switzerland, but I was still riding, and after, when I stopped, I start 2 years later or 3 years later with Spain. That was my first step.
Incredible.
I was 4 years in Spain, and after I get to find another way because we were not very happy together in the end because they will make some change. So I decided to go to another place where they offered me a good job. It was a little bit very special. It was with Ukraine. I was 4 years there also, and from there I got 1 year in Russia. I worked with the Russian people. I was in a European Championship in Windsor with the Russian riders, and after they tried to contract me, but in between I get an offer from Belgium, so I went to Belgium for 4 years, and after these 4 years I was still in Belgium. I was supposed to continue, but come an offer from France, and okay, for me it was still at this moment it was maybe a bigger challenge for me, so I accept this challenge and I make 6 years there. And after being fired in France, about different problems, but not really with result. But okay, we will not talk about this. But I get an offer from Brazilian because I have always a good relation with them, and I'm at the moment still happy and continuing to do my passion because normally I should not anymore work, but I like to do this. And that is more or less,
you know what?
Concentrate my life. Are you okay with this?
Well, first, congratulations. Yeah, I'm actually, I was very impressed. I didn't know about the Ukraine, about the Russia. So that is actually good information that you are sharing now. But you specifically said a word that I think is very important in our sport. And you mentioned passion. So it's not only hard work. It's not only about dedication. It's about passion. Can you go deeper on what is the meaning of passion for you?
Yeah. I mean, today when I watch the sport and the direction we are talking, we are taking about our sport, I think there are still riders with a lot of passion, but it's a little bit different. Before, when you take 30 years ago, from 50 riders, you had 48 horsemen. Now, for 50 riders, if you have half of the horsemen, I don't agree with this because I don't think this. So it's a very different way, but it's also another life, and everything changed. But before we were able to talk a night long about one horse or one class, but today one class, points, money, next class, points, money, forget it, go and play, next place. It's very different, but I am always a little bit saying this. I said when I was younger, the sport, I don't know if you will agree a little bit with me because Leopoldo is just 1 year younger than me, but I mean, 30 or 40 years ago, I was thinking about, I thought that the sport changed every 10 years was a big modification with the rules, with the obstacles, with the fences was different, but the change was coming every 10 years. And 20 years ago was every 5 years, and now today is nearly every year. So we change a lot of things, we change rules, we change the course design is today so important. Before I was this one who was building at the highest to have very few clear, but today you need more technical, and the sport very changed. I mean, I was lucky to have my life watching this change and everything, but if it is better today, I cannot say this. I don't want to answer this question, but the beginning of the question was about patience, but today, if you look the people who are a little bit older, who are still in this business, like Leopoldo, like many people, I mean, they had passion about this. Without this, for money, you are not doing this. For going to build courses, and some 60 riders, just one who say it was a good course, this one who won, not even. And I mean, today is the change is very big, and for us who are from another generation, is sometimes difficult to understand. I always try to adapt me, but it's not so easy because I can say something about the jumping sport. I think was better 30 years ago, but okay, it's my opinion, my point of view, because we were a big family, but today is not anymore a big family. Today there are businessmen, and not all, but the biggest point is the sport is taken a direction. Maybe today is not yet so far, but I hope we are not going far more in this direction, and we'll stay a little bit quiet because this pandemic was terrible. But maybe we will think a little bit different about this.
Very interesting
But
point.
it's very my point of view. It's not, yeah,
Philippe, as a person from the sport like yourself, what is the difference between being a rider, being a chef d'équipe, and being a father in your interior emotions when you go in there? But I think it's very different when you are a rider and when you are a father. But you have the two faces, the three faces, as a chef d'équipe, as a father, and as a rider. What was more emotional for you, or what are your feelings in that moment? The difference.
Yeah, when I was a rider, I was in a good team in Switzerland with famous riders. I was normally always going first in the Nation Cup, and I was not really, some rider was nervous. I was a walking rider, and I had not the last talent, but I was working hard. I was a long time in a Swiss team and always going first, and was not really nervous. Today, I'm much more nervous, much more, because my rider, when I ring, I am nearly going collapse, and when my son is riding, it's the same. Okay, not in a small class, but still, even I don't watch him all the time, because some big classes I better not look, because I'm always afraid my heart is going to stop. So, but with my riders, the same, because I know the people was working so hard, trying so hard, and I know how quick you have one down or two down, and something is very. I know some of my. Of the other chef d'équipe, are not really the same like me. Some are the same like me, but when you are like me, I tell you, the night of the Nation Cup, for me, I cannot sleep. The night before, the night after, even if we win, because I'm too nervous, and it's for me very difficult to. It's fantastic to have this because it's my passion, but it's difficult. Nobody can talk to me in the night, and it's not easy to be around to me. Because I'm like this. I don't play a game. It's my life and my passion.
Carolo.
Philippe, you are the father of one of the best riders in the world, Steve. London 2012 or Rio de Janeiro 2016. Where did you feel happier?
Okay, when I am honest, you have not to ask me this question. I am proud what I did with friends, but the best moment was for sure was the win of Steve. I mean, as a father, you can understand this because some people always say because I had many times offered to work in Switzerland, and for me it was not the time, because I say no, with Steve it's too complicated, because it's not saying I will select him or not select him, but always he has some friends, he has some people like maybe less, or I have some young riders that were the father riding with me. I say it's too complicated, it's better to make this outside, and I still think about this. It's better to make this in another country. But normally, when we are in a show, my heart is always going for Switzerland. I want to win with my team when I was in France or in Belgium, but my heart is in Switzerland. I am Swiss. I am proud to be Swiss.
And coming back to
Did I
Rio.
answer your question? Pardon?
Yes, of course. I think you enjoyed in both places, in London or in Rio.
Yeah. But it's always, something you are not ever always happy, because in London I was not really lucky, because I had two horses in bad condition from the Belgian team in the last moment. We had to change, and I was not happy for this. But we were not bad, but I was not happy for this, because it was a new team building, and in Rio I was so happy. But after, when Steve had one down on the first jump over, I was not happy. It's life. But when you have this passion, it's worse. but I like this.
But coming to the chef d'equipe perspective, when you arrive in an Olympic Games and you lose one horse before to start and one rider in the first class, and you think that everything almost is finished. However, and after the surprise arrives, and day by day, you arrive to the gold medal with your team, no? Can you explain your feeling during the 4 days, no? Because I lived that and I remember that very well, and the conversation that we had, and I would like that you explain to everyone, because this is to be patient. Clearly, the definition to be patient is your definition.
But you know, when you take back to Rio de Janeiro, okay, we had a lot of trouble and we were really unlucky to start, but it's difficult because I was not sleeping. I was in stables one night during all the night with one of his colleagues, but this was not the worst problem. For me, the biggest problem is to stay focused and to speak with my riders and to motivate them, because some can hang a little bit ahead and it's over. When you are just 3 or 3.5, it's complicated to finish. But one thing I can say, and they were fighting with me, I was fighting with them, and in the morning bus at 5 o'clock, we went to the last day, and I wrote everyone different. We were all in the bus, but I was in front, and there was no rider beside me. I wrote everyone an SMS, a small one. I say I want them to go through fire, to fight like the hell, because we was in the 5th position, and I write on them, good luck, and I promise you, if we're 3 clear today, we are on the podest. I didn't say we won, but I said we are on the podest, and in the end we had 3 clear and we won. But this is a nice story, and I like to explain this, but you know how many times it's really different, and how many times you try to do your best, and you make the same preparations, the same attitude, the riders try, and you have maybe better horses, but you don't win. This sport, what makes me a fascination, and you can never know at the beginning how it's going to happen or to finish, and it's why I am so disappointed that we are going to the new rules in the Olympic Games. But okay, we will be a winner also. Will be some people who will be a tragedy and everything. But our sport is living from this, and thing is what makes our sport so nice.
It is clear.
So I think it's time. So now that we're talking about Rio, I have a video here that it was shared by Margie Engel, which everyone knows Margie. She was our guest here in La Tertulia and one of the best riders in the world and very loved by everyone in the sport. She shared a video about the 1988 Olympics, about a special line with a triple bar and then a triple combination. Okay, and when I saw the video, I think it's a perfect timing to have you, Philippe, here, and 2 Olympic course designers. First, you, Philippe, because you wrote that line, okay, in the 1988 Olympics, and Leopoldo and Santiago are both Olympic course designers. For you to actually see why that line, the distance is used, and how will that prove that the sport has developed or has changed. So, Alec, can you please put the course plan on the screen, and then we're going to see the videos. So basically, it's jump number 4. Then you have 31 meters, and then you have 5A to 5B. You have 830, and then 5B to 5C. You have 1030, right? So can you put now one of the videos, please?
Olímpicos de Los Ángeles, Lucas se dispone a afrontar la parte más difícil y más técnica de este recorrido. Entre fondo y atención con el triple, porque es verdaderamente difícil. En este recorrido que un compatriota suya, Petersen, ha trazado. Pasa limpiamente.
Philippe, you're welcome to talk about that line while we see the video, huh?
Yeah, but it was not, this line, but it's the line of the qualification.
Últimos de 2 metros y el triple, allá va.
Yeah, we see everything in
this
this
horse-
line. I remember. Yeah, but was I think the second qualification was just one horse clear. It was really, it was special. But I mean, if you watch this video, it's 23 years ago. You see it's more massive than today, but it's complicated to compare this because this time was different, and this was a qualification, very hard qualification for the final. I think this, I will not say something wrong. I think this qualification on Jalisco, I think, was only clear. But okay, today we know today normally this is not going to happen anymore. This distance.
So what I was very impressed with this video that I see horses going in 2 strides and horses going in 1 stride, and both of them sound like a perfect plan. So now that we have these course designers here as co-hosts, what do you think about the sport and using that same distance today, Leopoldo?
I think this is a huge change in the sport. At that time, the rider can have this time of decision between 2 and 1. Today, the first thing I want to clarify, in the plan say oxer vertical oxer, but it's oxer vertical vertical. I want to clarify this. But never using vertical oxer short. This I want to clarify, to be very clear of this. But years ago, I using, and even in speed classes, combinations and 2 stride shorts to make an option that they do in 1 or 2. And we don't have big accidents. And today we start to have big accidents, but don't expect it. And they don't planning to do 1 in 2 stride. This is what I see, and I don't use it for sure. That short combination, I think today is dangerous, but the sport have a big change. I don't know, what do you think, Philippe?
Yeah, I agree totally with you, but also we have to say, I mean, the material even 23 years ago was totally different than today. You will never have a line like this, so massive. It's like, even when you jump today in Calgary or in Aachen, it's not anymore the same like 30 years ago, because 30 years ago, we were going to survive on the class. Today, we are going to win the class. So everything is more technical. Everything need better riders, because 25 years ago, there were fantastic riders, some superstar, but most of the riders, they were also working riders, not so much talent. Today, when you go to the show, you don't see many riders who are not riding well, and you see a lot of fantastic riders. Can say we have 100 riders who I like to watch because they are good, and in some small country, even they have good or 2 good riders. It changed very much. César, you are here. I was 1.5 years ago in Pan American Games. For me, it was the first time, and I saw a rider I didn't know before, but not all of them. But this rider were good, riding good for small country. You had also a rider there, Leopoldo. But the world changed. Today you have 16, 18-year-old. You think is the next Olympic champion, but it needs so many things after this. But you see a lot of people riding good and good basis and work. But after, he needs luck, he needs hard work and a head like a stone. But the number of riders today who are riding well is nothing to compare with 30 years ago, because I was riding, 15 times a Grand Prix in Rome, but I think we never were more than 30 or 35 riders. I don't remember exactly, but there were 30, 35. And you were able to put on the paper, one is from these 5 are going to win, because we had no chance to win. We are going to be 5th. It was the best. But today, you make the Grand Prix from Calgary, some people are better, a little bit, or some horses, but in the end, in Aachen or in Calgary, you can put 5 names and nobody's in the 5 first. So I think that changed a lot. Before it was not like this, but today the riding, the coach, everything is better. The course designer, the vet, blacksmith, everything is so professional today. If you make, I say always to my riders, 100% riding in the ring and preparation is something good. But that is for amateur. If you want to be in the top, you have to be 110 and after 111 and until 120 is never a limit. And today it's going to change because the group of the best riders is always bigger. You see young people that can beat all the rider, and I think our sport will change very quickly. Before we had the regeneration of we take load all these people, they were able to ride until 60 or over 60. The thing is going to change. Now you will not have, in 10 years, you will not have any more 60-year-old riding the big classes. I don't think, because it's going too fast, too complicated to make it on the road, and so much show and so much traveling. And the sportmen will be really sportmen, the riders, and will not have a career as long as since the rider 20 or 30 years ago. It's my opinion. Huh?
How do you think that the new rules of the hind boots will change or is changing or is affecting to the riders and the horses and the competition, in fact?
Okay, if we spoke about high boots, I said already many years ago we should change this. Now it's going to change, but there are still people who are more tricky or more intelligent than you are an guy, because I was last week in a country when they show me the new boots. They're even worse than the other one, but they are on the rules you put. When you want to do this, really, it's complicated.
If this is in Netherlands,
Yeah.
If this is in Netherlands,
you know it because there was already a problem in Oliva. It will
be solved this week. It's a misinterpretation on the. Believe me.
Yeah, but it will be another one. To have a real, because what I don't understand is the riders, many riders, because I tell you, with normal boots, the best rider will win more, because the best riders, they can have another approach, they're better on the ring. But not everybody agree with this, and someone say, yeah, my horse is not going to jump anymore, and it's complicated to find the solution. I know it's a problem in the FEI, but I think we wait too long to approach this problem of the right side, because there was maybe another possibility before. I was talking about this time with John Roach, I remember, and I think we have not yet the solution, because Santi, how we say this, the policeman is always coming behind, but the guy is running faster than the policeman. And we will always have people who will find another solution.
But the question was not in this way, because obviously the people is faster than the rules. This is absolutely clear. And as much as we try to make everything fair for everyone, is always open. They always open door. But the question was not in this way. The question is that, in your opinion, without that, in my view,
would be easier.
The
your job will be much easier.
Exactly.
I know this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because today, because today you have to ask so many things to the rider and to the horses you will not have with normal boots. You will not have to do. Because today you have I don't say you, Santi, or don't say you, Leopoldo, but sometimes when you have Friday too many clears and you have the Grand Prix on Sunday, and stand one planks, two planks, or maybe three planks, and the scoop always smaller and the distance always shorter. I understand this for you. The job is, I say always the people I trust the most is the course designer, but I'm also not happy when it's not a good class. But I can speak to the course designer because I think it's better to speak often. But today, I said the last job I will do is course designer. That I have no. I'm not afraid to say this because your job is always more difficult because the people are, how I tell before, the riders are better, the horses are better, and it's more money in game, and it's very difficult because you are there and you put a good course, and you have 80% of the people say it's fantastic, but you're still 20% say it's no good. It's never everybody happy, never. That you cannot do a job for, but you are not doing this for that everybody will be happy, but you try to do your best. But I know course designer is not. I was thinking about, because maybe we talk about Olympics, but you will build Olympics now, and Leopoldo, you build already Olympics, but now what is coming on you is going something very special, because the guy who built the last Olympics, he had a chance to grow up, to go a little bit higher, and even we say sometimes it was not difficult enough this day, but you can change it. But now with a reverse order, reverse competition is very different, and I will not be in your place.
But Philippe,
But
go back to the boot.
Santi,
Go back to the boot.
Pardon?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Continue. You can continue, Philippe.
Yeah, one thing I don't really understand, because, okay, we have 3 riders to the Olympics, we know this, we are not going to change. But still, I don't understand, because we had pandemic, it was even worse, because we don't know how many shows will be before Olympics. Some riders will never make a 5-star because they are not in the rankings. They will not buy all places, because even if there's some money, they have no places for everybody. And we will go to Olympics with people who prepare with 2 stars and 3 stars competition, and that I cannot understand. Then we don't reverse again this 2 competitions, and we start like normally should be with a team competition, because not my opinion, the opinion for all the riders and all the chef d'équipe. And FAI makes this reverse, and today we can say we have even less chance. It's not going to be some problem with qualification. We make just this reverse, and I cannot understand this. For me, it's going out of my head. I can't understand. I don't know what you think, Santi, but okay, you are in the jumping committee. You cannot say too much, but
early that we arrive in the
I can say
committee.
this. I can say this.
But this is this is not a jumping committee decision now. This is was defined several years ago. As co-designer of the Olympic Games, I only can say that I will do my best, as I will try to do my best. Obviously, it's much more complicated start for big, but also you never know. I obviously, in the circumstances that we are, most likely we need to take care how we will manage, and it will be even more difficult, no? However, we will try to do, that's it, no? This is the question now, if it is not the rule that we have, is to do this successful, and first is to do this, no? And hopefully we can arrive in Tokyo, no? No, you today, you cannot do plans for 6 months, no? Life, no? In all the countries, no? The second is that, independently of the rules, yes, we need to do our best, try to be successful, and after we analyze, we will analyze what will gonna happen, because change anyway. The question is try to do our best and try to do as successful as possible. No, this is my personal view on that.
But I already said it will change in 3 years. In 3 years, you will. It's for sure. I don't say maybe not for riders. Maybe I will continue like this. But I'm sure the most important thing is team competition, and team competition must be in the beginning because the normal countries can jump this. Because now with 75 riders, you will make your qualification to get 35 for the final. You are going to have people going to Tokyo. It's very complicated to go to Tokyo. You know the rules we will have about pandemic, about the horses and everything. And some people make so lot of efforts to get there, and they will ride one class, and they will fly home. Nobody's thinking about this, but people are walking 4 years to go there, making 12 fences the first day, and going home. It's terrible for me.
Philippe,
Yeah.
as a core designer that I did in 2 Olympic Games, I totally agree with you. With the 3 riders, I really say I agree. I think in my feelings is okay. But the order of the classes, for me, will be very bad. But I agree with you, as will be very difficult for many riders to only jumping only one class, only one course, and finish and go home.
It's just 1 hour away.
And the other thing, what will be very difficult is normally the second round of the Olympic Games for the individual was the harder course, the very difficult course, and after doing that, put the horses to make it the team class will be very hard on the horses, in my opinion. Or the individual need to be in a different feeling, and I think it's not correct. But I think the second round of the individual of the Olympic game need to be a very important track. Like I building for 27 years Spruce Meadows, and I'm sure after the second round of the Master, the last day, I don't want to see horses jumping today after a pretty.
No. Totally agree with you. Totally.
As a horse.
Totally.
I'm talking about the core designer and the horsemanship and welfare of the horses. And
exactly.
I totally agree with you. I say this to support your opinion. In my experience as a core designer, but the team class was always a little bit more soft and protected. The horses are 2 rounds. You don't care in the number of cleans. You don't care in many aspects. I think Santiago will have a very hard job there. I don't want to be in his place.
Good luck.
Okay. Even if you are right, that it could be perfectly, you are, and many people can agree with you. And most likely, if I need to define from start, it is more than likely I will define in the same way than you. Even this is true. We are where we are, and we need to try to do our best to do the better Olympic Games as possible. And that means that at the present time, there is not the time to have this discussion. It's the time to make this as successful as possible. Okay, I perfectly agree, and I could agree that the logical could say the opposite order, but there is other collaterals that the people arrive on the individual's schedule, have more opportunities. No, there is no in the sport perspective. Obviously, it is smaller the team competition, or is not a smaller soft competition than the individual final. However, we are where we are. Try to do our best. We will try to do the better Olympic game as possible. It is not this simple, and under this condition, it will be even more complicated. But we try to do first, and hopefully we can do, because at the present time, I am not sure that we will be able. Hopefully, I hope there, but nobody knows. No, here the situation changed dramatically in 1 week. In Europe, other they change dramatically in 1 week in the States, in Latin America, in Asia. Nobody knows. That means that the better one that we can do, as simple as that, and I will be very proud and very honored to be there, and I will try to do the best.
Our job.
Yes. Santiago, I am sure you will solve that problem and you will have a very good results there. But you have the capacity and you have the knowledge, and I know you are working hard, and I will have confidence, even if I don't want to be in your position.
You need to understand that for me is better to be in this position than to not be. That means that, okay, this is complicated, but
Yeah.
Philippe, on the sport today, what do you think of the future of the sport? We will continue to going only to testing careful of the horses, or we will going to test more now? We'll still to come back a little bit to testing more of the brave of the horse, different type of fences, more massive, and come back a little bit. I don't say we need to come back that 30 years ago or 10 years ago or 20, but come back a little bit, or we will continue to be more careful and more careful and more careful. What is your feeling?
Yeah, it's complicated to see how it will come, but I mean today I think for me we have a limit, and I think Santi was talking about this high boot must be forbidden. So I mean not all of them, but this kind who make the horses jumping a little bit unnatural, because the sport will be easier for you to build it, and what's the problem if is I don't think we have to go back, because before, if we go back, what is the breeding? The breeding it so much improved the last 40 years. The horses are not anymore the same. When I was riding, when I watched a video or pictures of the horses we were riding 30 or 40 years ago, they are totally different than the horses today. Today they are really athletes. They are fast, they are quick, they are careful. It's not the same. When you remember when you build we were touching 3 or 4 fences in Stockholm. Even in Stockholm, it's not so far away. I watched a video for me. I thought, should have 16 points, and you were clear because you touch 3 or 4 fences. But the material is so different today. I think we have a point now. I don't like if you go further than this point, because after you need or to come with a unnatural article, or to make the training too hard with the horses, and I don't like this. So for me, today I think we have a limit, and we cannot change much this limit. And I don't want to have too many classes with 3 planks, I tell you. Something must be still natural. You can have some few fences a little bit bigger, but not so technical, and the rest must be technical. I think will be a mix of them, but not really back like. I know you like to build in Calgary, but I mean, not every place is like Calgary, because Calgary is very special. Like Aachen are the best, and but we know it's totally different. We know. I've been chef d'équipe many times in Calgary. I always talk to my rider. Yeah, but this horse you cannot go to Calgary, and I know many riders came with this horse, but was not working. In the end, they killed the horse there, because some horses are not made for Aachen or not made for Calgary. And I mean, that's the 2 most prestigious Grand Prix in the world. So we have to continue in this way, but I don't think we have to go further, because it will be more difficult. Today, if you put a class like you put 25 years ago, with the same cups and everything, you have a lot of faults. Huh? Before it was like this, but the horses were stronger than today. I hope.
But and with the water jump, it's a lot of discussions in the world. What do you think of the future? But many people ask me about the future of the water jump. I like the water jump, and even I thinking the water jump with 4 meters is too small. We need to not like 5 meters as before, but give it a little bit bigger in some cases. Not every water jump, but a water jump, for example, in Aachen or in Calgary, of 4 meters is nothing. It's too small. Need to be a little bit bigger, and now it's not allowed. But what do you think of the future of the water? That we're going smaller and smaller, and these kind of things.
Now I hear many people who are asking no water anymore. I say no. This sport you cannot do like this, no water, and after no triple bar, and after no 2 oxer in a combination. I mean, we have to stay a sport, a natural sport. But the biggest problem I see with the water is to use the water at the sand place, sand arena. I said, okay, when we make Olympic Games, but for example, you have 2 days or 3 times to jump the water, I think for me it's too much on the sand, because the horses, I know exactly what it is, and on the grass is different. I'm not there's more respect, and it's easier to jump. And I agree with you, it's not many mistakes in the water jump in Calgary, but was mainly in Aachen. But okay, now for the size, I remember I was jumping water 5 meters, but okay, I was never over. I was always on the on the lats. But I mean, today it's not anymore like this. But maybe what you say for championship to make a little bit wider, why not? It's not a problem to have a 430. But you put in Calgary, I don't think you put 4 meters, you put 430 also. Don't tell you put 4 meters in Calgary.
The difference is the sand arena or the grass arena. This is totally different.
Very big difference. Yeah. You see the water jump in Hickstead. The water jump in Hickstead is huge when you see it, but it's a lot of front, it's going a little bit down. Okay, you have some horses who stop, but the horses that jump the water, if you put the same water in the sand arena, there's no one horse jumping over. No one. But there is a configuration of the ground, you go down or up, the horses, and it's very good front. But today we put the water 3.5 meter front, with nothing in front. I like better a little bit wider, but use something to help the horses. For me, but it's my idea. But today we put water without anything in front, without anything behind. That is just to learn the horses jumping in the water. But it's my opinion.
It's true.
I don't know everything. I try.
Do you think that Rodrigo Pessoa will be with his horses prepared for Tokyo 2021?
A good question. I like it, but who knows? He's working hard, he's trying, but okay, he's like every other one, he knows this exactly. Now he had the chance to have been as a seleccionador, he know how complicated it is, but sure, when you are chef d'équipe, you enjoy to have a rider like this with his palmarès, but in the end, it's for everybody the same, and he knows this, he knows me, I'm not going to change my mind. He need a result, he need a horse who is jumping good, and after, I'm always to take the best riders with me, always in championship, but I need a good horse, because good riders without a horse to be able to make it, but Rodrigo will not be in this case, I hope not. And if
so we're almost finished. We're at the top of the hour. Philippe, now that Carolo asked you about the question about your Brazilian team, what is your plans in the positive that we're having Olympics in Tokyo? What will be your plan from today up to the Olympics with your team? Are you planning to stay here in the United States, go to Europe? I mean, how are you going to work?
Yeah, I make a nearly because, like you say, we don't know exactly how it's going to happen, what is going to happen. But I make more or less the same plan like last year. So I will normally, touch wood, in 10 days I'm leaving to Wellington. I will be there 3.5 weeks with my riders there. We will have a nation cup there. I will see the horses in big classes. I have a few horses who came in a question for the team for Tokyo, and from there I will fly direct to Sunshine, to RR, because I have the rest of the riders who are in Europe, just one note, but he will be jumping in Italian, but I'm going also there, so we will see. And after this, I'm happy because I have three invitation. I have a CSIO 3-star in Le Touquet. I will start with some riders there. And after I have an invitation for La Baule and for St. Gallen, and after this, I hope I will have a team, and we can start the preparation for this team. I don't want to wait too long. Okay, we need one more horse, or maybe two, to prepare. We cannot prepare just with 3 and 1 reserve. We need 5 or 6, but after then I can prepare to try to find invitation, because I have one top rider, many top riders, but I one in the 31st is Marlon, and he can go to 5-star, but the other one, Federation cannot buy places, and we are not going to do this because I hate this, so I don't want my rider to do this. And so I have just one add to this in the global, so the other one is complicated because even in Saint-Tropez is a good place to prepare it. It's 5-star or 4-star, so there's also a little bit in Belgium, but we will see. We will make 3-star also. We prepare like we can, but when I see already the problem I have and the phone I already make to try to get 1 or 2 invitation, but maybe we don't know if the show will happen, but I try to prepare as good as possible, but after also the horses decided, the show decided, because I am not pessimist, but I think there will be still some show will be cancelled, and we have to be ready to do everything, because I told you I am going to leave to America in 1 week, and today here they will maybe close the border for the foreign people. So we have to wait to see and to stay optimistic, but it's not so easy. But the plan is more or less what I told you, like more or less last year.
Excellent. Yeah, for sure it's not going to be easy, but good news that you'll be visiting us here in Wellington. So we'll see you here and we have a good chat. Well, good. Philippe, we want to thank you very much for taking the time. I know you're very busy. You have a lot of plans going forward. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. Very interesting. I personally learned a lot. And I know you've been very influential in the sport. And thank you very much, Leopoldo, Santiago, and Carolo, and Equestre Digital for all your help. So please, Leopoldo, Carolo, to Philippe, we say goodbye.
Goodbye to you, and thank you. It was a pleasure to be with you. And good luck to all of you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you.